What's up, guys? It's Jacob here. This is my third, legitimate video on YouTube, and I haven't heard back from anyone so far, as to what I should talk about in these videos. So today I'm going to talk about my vacations as a child, and I've taken a lot of summer vacations, so I'm splitting the vacation video into two parts and I'll do part two tomorrow after work. And also, I just wanted to say that I think that these videos of me, talking, discussing things, I'm gonna make a them part of like a series called the Jello Fabric Tour. Because Jello Fabric Tour is an anagram of my name, and then it also has the Beatles aspect because I like the Beatles. It also has the Beatles aspect of like the Magical Mystery Tour, and I don't know. It's the Jello Fabric Tour. Like Good Morning America, the Today Show, the Jello Fabric Tour. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking about. But anyway, so my vacations when I was a kid. First of all, my mom is a school teacher and was back then, when we started these vacations. So what she would do is she would save up during the school year. I wouldn't get, too many luxury items like video game consoles. I didn't have my own until I was like 17, and it was a PlayStation 2 with two games, San Andreas and Battlefront 2, which was fun, but I mean, you know, it's pretty just simple. So she also had to get a couple other, like part-time jobs to help, um, with the to save up for these trips. And when I was up until like 2003, we would just take, small road trips from Florida where we live, and um, we'd go up to New York City where I have some more family. And then in 2003, we took like our first really big trip. We went from Florida out west to Grand Canyon and Las Vegas area, and then north to Wyoming, and in Wyoming, Yellowstone National Park, and then back east, you know, all the way over to New York City, and then back down south to Florida. That trip took more or less a month, and that was like the longest road trip, I've ever taken, and it was pretty awesome. The car that we took reached over 100,000 miles on that trip. It's a 91 Honda Accord, and that's the car that I'm actually driving right now. And it broke down three times on this trip, and it's old. It's an old car, but I call her Old Faithful because like through everything that it's been through, it still runs. So I mean, beggars can't be choosers, right? So that's that. My next trip was 2004. Norm, Nothing really too extravagant about this, but we took a road trip past New York and kind of explored, northern New England, the northern New England states. Because normally we would just go to New York and back down. We never went farther north than that. So yeah, that was 2004 pretty much. I mean, the only real memory that sticks with me is that was the summer that the Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the third movie, came out. And my mom, I really wanted to see it the night it opened. We were in Providence, Rhode Island, and my mom said the only way she would, have let me go see it is if I ate clam chowder, because she wanted to get me cultured and stuff like that, as to what's around, you know the customs of the area, I guess. And I really didn't want to because it looked disgusting, but then I tried it and I liked it, and I went to the movie. And since it was opening night, they also handed out mini Lego versions of the night bus, which is like the three-story purple bus. If you know Harry Potter, you know what I'm talking about. Um, and I thought that was awesome because I loved and still love Legos. So that was 2004, pretty much. And that's all I can vividly remember. In 2005, I took my first trip out of the country, and that was to Italy. We went to Rome, Pisa, Florence, and on our way there, we had a connecting flight. We flew from Orlando to um, Frankfurt, Germany, and then from Frankfurt down to Rome. And you see that on the map there. And that was a pretty awesome trip. It was my first time out of the country. It was just it was definitely interesting because you are all of a sudden you don't know what everyone's saying. I mean, a lot of people speak English, or but I mean it's not the national language, obviously, so it's pretty interesting. And also around that time, that was when I think American soldiers in the Middle East accidentally killed an Italian journalist, I think, something along those lines. I really don't remember, but a lot of quite a bit of the Italians didn't like Americans around that time. Like they would be like, "Oh, Bush, boo," and I mean, a lot of Americans were like, "Boo, Bush," too, but they were really some of them were not nice. But that was a pretty awesome trip. It was more or less 2 weeks, and I went with my mom, my aunt, and this lady named Zori. She is my mom. She's like the hairdresser for all the women in my family, and she and her husband came too. In 2006, we took this is kind of like a two-part trip. My mom and I took a road trip kind of northwest from Florida to Salt Lake City, Utah, where we met up with my grandparents and my cousin, and then we all got on this tour that went through up continuing northwest through Yellowstone National Park and then up to Vancouver, Canada, where we got on a cruise which took us around the bottom part of Alaska to Juneau and um, Skagway and places like that. Came back down to Seattle, and then the bus dropped us back off in Salt Lake City, where my mom and I picked up our car, and then my grandparents and cousin flew back home. And that was a pretty epic trip too. Lots of snow, which a Floridian is not really used to. So and it was pretty interesting traveling, with my grandparents and my cousin for a long period of time because I had never really done that before. And then this is the last trip that I'm gonna talk about in this video. 2007. I also went out of the country to the United Kingdom. We went to London. We there's this website called Vacation Rentals by Owner, and you can actually like rent houses or apartments or and stuff in other foreign cities, which was pretty cool. So we rented a small apartment with the same people that we went to Italy with for the same amount of time, and we went stayed around London. We got to take a trip to Stonehenge, which was pretty epic because like we had to wake up super early, like 3 a.m. because the tour was early, and we got to like actually get in and walk in and around the stones, whereas most people, when you go there, there's like a perimeter like really far around, but we actually like got to walk in and touch the stones, and that was just awesome. I remember that was pretty cool. And so that was 2007. That was our England trip. And that's the last trip I'm going to talk about in this video because I'm already at like 9 minutes. So I guess stay tuned for video 2 of my vacations. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you can, if you want, give it a thumbs up and or subscribe. If you don't like it, you can give it a thumbs down, and make sure you guys leave your comments and anything you want to say in the comment section or private message me. And have a nice night.